Right, evening everyone. It's Monday, so it's a roundup of the weekend match results. First of all, I just want to say I did say I was going to do some tips videos and go into things like that on a Wednesday. I'm really sorry didn't get it done. I've had a week from hell with work. Getting home really late. It's now 10 o'clock on Monday night and I've been home for just over half hour. And I've got to go to bed ready to get up early again tomorrow. It's just been one of them weeks, so I'm afraid I didn't have time. I do want to get a quick video done, try and get back to doing things on a Monday and a Wednesday. So, as I mentioned last week, just one match to talk about this week. On Saturday it was the big money match at Decoy. Tony Evans ran it on Elm and Cedar, two of the strip lakes. If you remember, we were on Cedar a couple of weeks ago. Massive weights, fishing really well. Both lakes have been. So it's expecting a great day. There was originally 30 booked on for it, and as always, there were a couple of no-shows. So it was ended up 14 on each lake, and there's 26 pegs on each lake. So that's an ideal number, really. As always, when there's a lot of money involved, all fantastic anglers. It was £100 entry to actually fish the match. They were paying the top four. It was 750, 500, 350, 200, I think. And then there were four sections, as two on each lake, paying £150. So I love matches like that. It's expensive to fish, but it can be really good. It's worth doing. Really looking forward to it. And on the day we thought Cedar would be the better of the two lakes, and I've drawn Cedar, or they've drawn me Cedar, they drew our pegs out for us. I've drawn Cedar 14, which is the end peg. They're just rectangles, as the name suggests, the strips. Was the end peg, good peg. The wind was going up, I was this far side, the wind was actually coming up our end and across, so it was going right into my corner, so it looked perfect, in all honesty. Not a strong wind, just a nice ripple going into it. I really fancied it. For company at my end of the lake in my section alone, just to sort of say what standard of anglers it was. I was on 14. Tom Edwards was next to me on 16, who's always awesome angler, really hard to beat. Next to him was Simon Skelton, another fantastic angler. Then working back up, opposite Simon was John Wincup. Again, won so much money at Decoy, great angler. Next to him was Simon Spinks. And then opposite me on peg 12 on the other corner, which was the peg a lot of people had said they fancied it to win. With the conditions, was Jack Gill, who has probably won more money than anyone at Decoy the last couple of years. Great angler. So really, just winning your section was going to take some doing. But like I say, when there's a bit of money involved, the good anglers always come out to play. Weight-wise, in all honesty, I was expecting £250 to £300 to win, so you're going to have to be really positive. I've always said at Decoy, especially on the strips, if you have to get a lot of pole out, you're not going to do any good. So really simple approach. Cast as shallow at a top, well, it's a short four and two sections, so sort of a top 5.5. And then the edges, and that was all, barring a top kit to start the match with cat meat like I've gone into before. Good little starter, just while you build your other lines. It was just going to be the edges and shallow. That's all I set up to do. I've got two more sections of pole out, just in case I had to follow the shallow fish out, but didn't expect to use them. I'll go into my rigs and exactly where I've fished and the depths and everything, especially for the edge. Now I've got all my rigs on my top kits, barring one still. Firstly, the shallow rigs. I actually set up 3, but the other one got trashed right near the end of the match, so I can't show you it, but I can tell you the difference it was to these two. You have to fish a foot of line above your float and a foot below at decoy, which with casters at times can be a bit troublesome there, because if the F1s are there, you do want a tight line really. You could do with a shorter line, and they do seem to sit, the big clever fish sit 6 inches deep, so it's trying to get you do miss a few bites and fail hooking on fish. Even worse so when you're fishing up to cover, which is why I didn't want to go against sort of the reeds down the end of there wasn't any activity there really anyway. I've drawn this peg once before, and there used to be a bit along the bank at like 13 metres where it had fallen away and you could get into real shallow water, but it's all grown up now, so that was an advantage. All along that bank is really deep, it's the same depth as the rest of the lake, like 5 foot, so I just neglected that, to be honest. So shallow rigs, set up 2 midgets, one at a foot deep, just with a bulk above it at mid depth against a 6 inch hook length, and exactly the same at 2 foot. Again, a 6 inch hook length, it's a bit longer than these were my F1 rigs, but there's a lot of carp as well, so it was sort of a middle ground sort of rig, both of them. Both on short kits, 12 to 14 slick, which is, like I say, that's the one I'm liking for this sort of fishing now. Bog standard 018, and these have got an 014 hook length on, and just a 16 with a band, standard F1 sort of tackle really. The other one, like I say, that I did set up with catching lots of carp on casters when we were in the match the other week, I set up a bit heavier rig, exactly the same rig, foot above, foot below, another midget. I just had an 018 bottom on it, and I had that on a long power kit, a normal power kit with the yellow 14 to 16 slick, just if there were more carp there. They're big fish, I could just pull a little bit harder, just a bit more reassuring the tackle. The only difference with that one is I had all the shot under the float, barring one number 11 just above the hook length knot, just because the carp like to see it fall that bit slower. That was my shallow rigs. Deck rigs wise, like I say, I wasn't fishing many lines, but I did try to cover myself. I've set up a rig for fishing under my caster line, which can be really good on that. We've got the depth here, 64 inches, so yeah, it was, what's that, 5.5 foot, 6 foot, something like that, 5.5 foot. Yeah, fishing worms under your caster line, you can catch, there's lots of barbel on F1s, you can just fish a big piece of worm underneath your casters, can be really good for them, lots of big skimmers in there. And I've had it before, the carp really rock up on that line late on the bottom on all the casters you've been throwing in for shallow. Power kit, it was my favourite, the 16 to 18, the green slick. A 414 dust rube carbon, just a bulk of 2 droppers, 020 mainline, 018 bottom, and a 14 hook, nice strong hook. Like I say, you catch a bit of everything on that. A lot of barbel and carp, so no point in messing around. Like I say, I've also set up a rig for fishing catmeat at the start. Again, I've covered this rig before, but really simple. It was a 416 rube cane with the big heavy tip. The elastic was, it's the next one up, the red, the 18 to 20 slick. I was only going to fish this for the first sort of 10 minutes, quarter of an hour, so if I was hooking a big fish, I wanted to make the most of it. Just a simple bulk of number 8s, above a foot hook length, of 018, no 020, sorry, I fished 020 straight through as such, to a strong size 12. That was the catmate rig. And finally, the edges. Now, the edges on this lake can be really deep. I've had a plumb around all along, all into the corner here, which is where I really fancied fishing. The shallowest water I found Still got it on here. Again, this is why I like my top kits with the marks on. It's for reference for next time, seeing what sort of depths have been good. Found 27 inches, so 2.5 foot. That was on my top kit, and a long 4. I've got a separate long 4 out because it just got me in the right place without having lots of pole behind me. That was down to my left, tight into the bank. And then I found exactly the same depth. There was a little bit in a little hole on a top kit down my left. There's a lot of barbel there, as I said before. So the left I've just thrown casters on. Thought it might be good for barbel. Down the right I was going to really attack. From what I learnt last time, you feed lots and lots of bait. It's always been the same with decoy. I was going to feed that with micros and dead maggots. It was just F1, the spotted fin F1 micros. 2 mils. I've got 6 pints of them with me and 6 pints of dead maggots. It's an attacking venue. Rig wise, it was, like I say, I've stepped up now. I love this elastic. After this weekend, loved it again more. The 20 to 22 slip through a power kit. As I've said with edge rigs, 3 number 8 back shot, so it really holds it still right we're fishing. The dot and down margin float. 023 down to, there's a bulk of 6 number 8s, of a 4-inch hook length of 020, and again a big strong size 12. And that pretty much covered it. The only other rig I did set up, I tried it very briefly, didn't work, but I'll go into that, was another margin rig for just fishing in slightly deeper water, because I did feel that I missed out on a few on it last time I was on there. All the same setup, another 416 Rube cane. This was into like 3 foot of water, bulk of number 8s. It's exactly the same as my edge rig, but just with a different float and a bit deeper water. So that was that. Like I say, bait wise, I've gone through that. Lots of casters as well. The only other bait I got out was a tin of cat meat. I only wanted a few cubes just for the hook. And I got a pint of 6mm catalyst pellets out just to feed on that line early on. So the whistle's gone. I've fed literally 10 6mm pellets, 2 pieces of cat meat on a top kit by my nets. Fed my edge, big pot of micros and dead maggots. I was really going for it, needed a big weight. And then started throwing casters down, an odd handful of casters in that edge, and really giving it quite a lot of bait, casters on my shallow line. Dropped in with a bit of cat meat. First put, I've had one after about 2 minutes, about a carp about £7, which is a great start. Like I say, it's a great line to catch an early fish there. I've waited on it for another 5 minutes, not had a bite, and then it's got a little funny bite, had a bite, and it was a tench, about £1, and I thought, I'm not going to do this anymore. Stop feeding it. I don't feed it then. Gone down the edge with a big bunch of maggots. Floats in the shallower water on the top 4. Float's gone within about a minute, and I've had one about £12, and I thought, lovely start, great start. Then no more bites there, which was a bit weird, so I've topped it up again. I've tried the caster one down the other side, not a bite. Gone shallow with the deeper of the F1 rigs, had a couple of silly bites, so I picked the foot deep one up, caught an F1 about £2, and then I've had a carp about £8, and then I've had another carp like £6, so I've picked the heavy rig up. There are obviously a few carp, I can see an odd one swirling now. And to be honest, it's just been really good. There's been odd missed bites, and like I say, a shorter line would have helped, and they were a little bit, if I could have fished 8 inches deep it would have been a lot better, but the rules, as I always say, rules are rules. And it's just been catching an odd F1, an odd big carp. They weren't massive carp, they were generally like 5-pounders on it, but it was ticking over really nicely, catching quite well. What you did find, you'd get a few and then they'd sort of back away, or you wouldn't see any signs there, so it's just a case of keep feeding it and try the edges. And the next time I went down the edge I caught an F1 and then nothing else. The third, I still never had a bite on the caster, and this is an hour into the match, so I put a big pot of micros on that as well. Still carried on throwing casters on it because I just wanted to, there weren't barbel there obviously, so I wanted to bring some carp in, but I wanted to be throwing something on that one because it was so close to me, just to try and bring them in. The next hook down the edge I've had one like £10 straight away, and then I've had another one literally next put in, same size. And I was really going well. The lakes were actually fishing a bit harder than we were expecting. So I was well up in it. I was really happy, and I've just carried on like that for 2 hours. The caster one was that I never had another bite down that long edge. I don't know why. The ripples started to move out a little bit, and it was calm, and I didn't want to know. But the top kit where I was throwing the casters was actually better. I've had 4 or 5 carp down there, and I had one like £17. They were really big, the ones that came in on the caster. And it was a 5.5 hour match, and like 2.5 hours in, I think I must have had like £140, and I could see it wasn't fishing great, so I was really happy. And then the wind's turned a little bit, and instead of blowing into my corner, it's gone straight down the lake now. So everywhere has sort of been, there hasn't been a lot of ripple, only right in the middle of the lake. And I kept persevering with it, and it just died. Never had another bite in the edges all day. I tell a lie, I had one down the longer edge, foul hooked and lost it. But nothing else, which was surprising. But the whole lakes, both lakes just seemed to shut up. So I've just persevered with the caster line, and honestly, there was an odd bite there, caught an odd F1 or odd carp. And now Jack opposite me, I've been miles ahead of him, had started to catch. Like he was fishing really negative. He'd got 4 or 5 lines on the go and fishing long, and I could see him, he was dobbing round after lots of fish, and I couldn't see any. But you get that on the strips there. One side is white water, one side is dark water, and one side, the person opposite you can be dobbing all day and you'd never see a fish because it's a different colour water, which can be really frustrating. I've had it both ways. I've had it where I've been the right side of it and the wrong side. But yeah, he was just picking off odd fish, and they're big fish, so he started to catch up a little bit, and I kept thinking I'm going to do something else. And then with like an hour and a half, when I was really thinking, right, I'm going to do something else now, I've had 3 carp shallow and 3 puts, and I thought, this is going to go now. And it really didn't. In the end, I've tried feeding the cat meat on a top kit again, because that can be a good line, dumping a bit of bait in. If they don't come in the edges, they just sit there, but nothing on that. I've tried fishing under my caster line several times, and normally on there, you get line to death until they have a feed, and you catch skimmers and barbel, and I've caught one skimmer about £2 on it. It was rubbish, to be honest. And Jack was still catching like an odd one, and he had a couple of good little runs dobbing, and I knew he was ahead of me now. I was just thinking, what do I do now? Last half hour I've got have a couple of bits of pole out, reached down in the corner, started pinging casters in, and I've actually caught a couple against the reeds on a foot deep rig. But as I said, it's a nightmare because they come slurping on the reeds and you can't fish shallow enough, and you've got a long line. It's a frustrating rule for when you're doing that sort of fishing there. You want a short line. Caught 2, lost 4 foul hooked in the last half hour. But I should have done it an hour sooner. I've just been really positive. Everyone was the same. Tom Edwards next door to me was just fish shortening the edge. Fully expected them to be the methods, and it wasn't quite in the end. In the end, I thought I'd done no good at all because I'd not caught a lot in the second half of the match. And then I started seeing, and then when I spoke to everyone at the end of the match, everyone had been in the same boat, in all honesty. I watched the Elm wade in first, and Wayne Shepherd had £158. He was winning it off peg 14. It's one of the barbel pegs, and then next door on 15, Sam Brown was a pound behind, 157. But Sam's peg had died the second half of the match, just like mine had. And then we got round. They were winning easily for the rest of that lake, and then we got onto ours. They were still easily winning, and I thought I might have 150. I lifted my nets, and Jack waded and he'd got 185, and I knew I hadn't got that. So we've gone to lift my nets out. You have to have 4 nets in, and I'd said when I'd have a quick lift, I'd got 25 in one, 40 in the other 3. The 25 was actually 31. My first 40 £40 net was 52. The next one was 52, and I was thinking, if I've got that again, I could actually win it. But sadly, it was a bit lighter. It was 35 or something like that. So I've ended up with £167 and second in the match. Jack's beat me, literally 2 fish it was in the end. I thought he was a lot further ahead. Could have caught it. I was a bit annoyed because I didn't fish right in the second half. Should have got some more gear out. Just fished, chopped some worms up and fished negative long at like 13 metres where the bit of ripple was perhaps. Or pinged some hard pellets. He's caught 2 or 3 just throwing a few hard pellets on like top 4, just at the bottom of the slope. That could have been an option, but these big money matches, I was expecting a bigger weight. You go there and fish positive. Should definitely ping some casters to the reed soon as well. But second, picked up 500 quid, so all in all a great day. Still really good day, and £167, a lovely day's fishing. Did, like I say, did come away a bit frustrated, but well done to Jack. He fished, I'd say, very negative really. Had it fished a bit better, I would have I'd have kept catching. There'd have been no stopping me because I was so far ahead at one stage. But that's fishing. The conditions changed, and yeah, didn't quite react to it. So Sunday I was out coaching again with Darren. We were on 2 islands at Float Fish again. There was a match on like last week, but they leave the Bay of Doom out in most club matches, and we sat in the middle of that. Same peg as I was coaching on last week. Got a few shallow, a few with meat. The interesting thing, and there's always something to learn when you go fishing, was the edge fishing. I've always fished ground bait and meat, like I say. I've not really caught a lot this year, and I've just thought they're not coming in. And a few people have said the same. A few people have just started to catch with maggots in the edge, and they've always been a waste of time because of the little fish. And we did that the last hour. Might because I'm dead, plenty of dead maggots, and it was ridiculous. The size and the amount of fish coming in, and whereas with ground bait they've been swimming straight back out again, eating it, swimming straight up. They've just hung around there for ages. So even though I wasn't fishing myself, really learnt something interesting. Darren did lend me his top kit while he was packing up, and I actually had 5 for £50 in the space of him packing up. So that was a nice little end to the weekend. Moving on to this week, I've actually done something I've always said I'm not going to do. I'm booked for coaching both Saturday and Sunday, so there'll be no match to report on, I'm afraid, this week. But I will still do a little video because you can learn some things. I'm at decoy coaching on Saturday, float fish again on Sunday. We have got a bit of fishing this week though, not matches, but Thursday I'm out doing some filming with John Arthur for Matrix. Always nice to have a day out with him. Even more so this time because I am going to be putting this bad boy through its paces for the first time. The new Horizon Pro rods, I've had it out. Got dropped off for me to use today. Mine are on the way though, so that's nice. I've just got to say how awesome it is because I've just had a quick go of it in the living room. Obviously, until I fish with it, I'll give you a proper little bit of feedback on it, but it seems just incredible rod in all honesty. Can't wait to see the other ones. So yeah, I'm not sure what we're doing. We're doing a bit of feeder fishing somewhere, but there'll be a video up for you soon from that on the Matrix page. Friday I am at Barston again with Matrix. We're having a Matrix day out, product testing things, so that'll be fun. Not been to Barston for a while. Hopefully catch a load of great big things. I do really enjoy going there, so that'll be good. Yeah, and then no matches, like I say. Next week I've got 1 day's coaching and we will have a match, so there'll be something to report on, and I'm going to get some tips videos done Wednesday. Like I say, I'm going to do what I was going to do last week, so I'll try and get 2 or 3 done, just a bit extra for you. And then we'll hopefully get some more matches. We'll soon be back to plenty of matches, lots of festivals coming up. Got 3 festivals in the next 3 or 4 weeks, so there'll be lots to report on with them. And just want to say thanks to everyone that's been watching and subscribing. Loads of nice comments. Keep having people come up to me when I'm out on the bank, say they've been watching them, so that's lovely. And until next time, thanks for watching.